this video, we're going to be going over everything you need to know about visiting Cedar Point in 2026. Every single time I visit Cedar Point, I watch families lose hours of their trip. They end up rope dropping the wrong rides. They eat at the worst times. And the kids are having a meltdown by 2 p.m. and you end up spending way more money than you planned. If you're visiting in 2026, I'm gonna give you a simple game plan so your day runs smoother and actually feels like a vacation. So thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. So let's get into it. Let's start with tickets because most people actually make their first mistake before they even get through the gate. Never buy your tickets at the gate. So they're almost always cheaper online. Cedar Point often does sales before and during the season where you can actually get deals on tickets. If you know somebody with a season pass, you can get a deal on bring a friend tickets. And also definitely try and consider the season pass. So if you're within the driving radius of the region, kind of 2.5 hours of Cedar Point, definitely consider a season pass because if you visit at least twice, you usually get your money's worth. And a pro tip for families is if you have kids over the age of 2, because 2 and under are free, but they're still, kindergarten, preschool, 5 and under, you can actually get 2 season passes and then 2 free pre-K passes at Cedar Point, often for the same or less than 4 tickets for your whole family. So if it's $50 a ticket and family of 4, you have a 4-year-old, or if you have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and you can actually buy 4 tickets for $200, or you could get 2 gold passes for around the same, usually often $2 to $250. So definitely consider that, because season passes also include parking. So when you buy your tickets, you still have to pay for parking when you get there if you don't have a season pass. So before you buy 4 single day tickets, definitely run the math. And tickets are often the cheapest part of your day. I know, hard to believe, because once you get into the park, the more money is going to be spent. So once you figured out your tickets, the next thing you want to plan for is how you're going to start your morning. And that's where early entry comes in. So who qualifies for early entry at Cedar Point? Early entry is a 1 hour before the park opens on a standard park day for specific guests to get access to specific rides. Not all rides are open before the general public. This year, the lineup for early entry is looking really good. We have Top Thrill 2, Siren's Curse, some of their newest roller coasters available for early entry, along with rides for younger kids like Iron Dragon, which their ride height is now 42 inches. And then you have things like for the smaller little kids in Kitty Kingdom. So there's a wide range of rides available in early entry, but you need to have a prestige pass. So that is the highest season pass. You need to be a hotel resort guest. So you're staying at Breakers, Express Hotel, Sawmill Creek, Castaway Bay, one of their properties, or Merida guest. If you're at Hotel Breakers, pro tip is your entrance gate for early entry is at the Magnum parking lot. So Magnum XL is one of the roller coasters, the big red one in the back by the water park parking lot, but that is your early entry entrance. So pro tip, you are the closest to Top Thrill 2 as soon as early entry starts, compared to those at the Magnum Gate or the Windseeker Gate, or even Valraven for the Marina. But if you are staying at Breakers, you have the straightest path, quickest route to Top Thrill 2, Siren's Curse, and Millennium Force. Now, Millennium Force, if it is in early entry, has always been the lowest weights, the best time to ride Millennium Force. Now, you could go Millennium Force, Siren's Curse, Top Thrill 2, or the reverse order. But you are able to knock out a lot of the high weight rides early in the morning if you're coming in through Hotel Breakers. So it's right on property. It's a great hotel. We do have a video. I'll throw a link up. So if you stay there, you're right literally next to Cedar Point. But if you're not a coaster enthusiast and you're a family like, me, we got a couple little kids, I might hop on a roller coaster in early entry, but early entry for families is all about balance. So like I said earlier, they have rides for little kids, first time, younger coaster riders, and then the big coasters. So a good place for this is actually in Kitty Kingdom area-ish. So younger kids can hop on something in Kitty Kingdom, and then the bigger kids can often go on Gatekeeper, or you can, you know, after hitting those rides up in the front of the park, you can head back to Iron Dragon, which is also included in early entry as well. So for some of those younger kids. And I always love in the morning in early entry, the Grand Pavilion does serve breakfast. So there's nowhere else really to get breakfast in the park. Most food places open at 11 a.m., but at the Grand Pavilion on the boardwalk by Kitty Kingdom and Gatekeeper, you can get breakfast. So we'll get into the meal plan and food later, but if you do have the meal plan, you can get breakfast on the second floor. We love doing that, so we'll ride a couple rides, get breakfast, use our first meal plan, get that going. It's one of my favorite things because you also have great views of Lake Erie from the second floor on the Grand Pavilion too, but we'll talk about that more later. So the first hour to 90 minutes can really set you up for success for early entry, but plan for your group. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for coasters, or if you're looking for a family balance, Cedar Point really does plan to have something for everyone at early entry. So after talking about early entry, you may or may not have it. You might just have a gold pass. You might just have a regular ticketed day. But the biggest thing I can tell people is get there before the park opens. Cedar Point is still technically considered a regional park. It's kind of a resort destination too, since it's right there on Lake Erie and they have lots of hotels, but most people drive. They're 1 to 2 hours from the park, so it takes them some time to get there. And what do? They say, oh, it opens at 10. They might leave at their house at 10. So they're not getting there until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. So really, the best time to get to Cedar Point, 20 minutes before either, 15, 20 minutes before your early entry if you have that, or park open. Sometimes they even let the regular, public 15 minutes early on some days. So they'll start funneling people in. Park usually opens at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. in the summer. So early entry is 9 o'clock. So sometimes I'm like an hour and a half away. I get up at 7 and I'm on the road. So the best time. So definitely get there early. So crowds really don't pack out at Cedar Point, even on a busy Saturday in July until 12:30, 1 o'clock. So between 10 and 1, you can really do some damage and knock out some big rides in the morning. So get there early. Biggest tip I can tell anybody. And now, so once you get into the park, so you're there, you're early, you're in the park. Most people, you get there, you're in the park, back of the park to the front. So some people who have early entry actually use that time not to ride Top Thrill 2 or Siren's Curse, but to start waiting for some of the bigger coasters in the back of the park in Frontier Town, Steel Vengeance and Maverick. So before they even open, Steel Vengeance I have seen have a lot of delayed openings. So if the park opens at 10, it might not always open. That's your ride, head straight to it. But in the morning, everyone goes right to Raptor. So that's the first big coaster by the gate. I never tell anyone to ride Raptor in the morning. You can catch that right before the park closes, as long as it's not having, technical issues, it just broke down or something, or it's closed. But before the park closes, it's usually a walk-on, 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes, but I've seen 2-hour waits at 11 a.m. and noon, because everyone goes right to that. So don't do that. Go to the back of the park, work backwards towards the front on your way out, towards your car, right? Now, family pro tip. I thought about gatekeeping this one because I love it and I hate to see a bunch of people start using it. But there are 3 kids areas for families at Cedar Point. There's Planet Snoopy in the front. There's Kitty Kingdom, which is for the littles. But Planet Snoopy and Camp Snoopy are for, kids a little bit taller, not quite maybe 42 inches, but they're kind of outgrowing the Kitty Kingdom rides. They have 2, so Planet Snoopy is in the front, Camp Snoopy is in the back. All the families in the morning go where? In the front of the park. They're at Planet Snoopy. Those rides are long waits. Go right to Camp Snoopy, just beeline right for the back. I use my early park entry, we'll get breakfast, ride a couple rides up front, but 15 minutes before early entry ends, I'm walking to Camp Snoopy because my kids will walk on every single ride at Camp Snoopy. So if it starts getting busy this year, I'm gonna have to blame this video. But that is the best tip. Literally, you can ride all the rides in Camp Snoopy in like a half hour or 45 minutes, and then you can relax in the afternoon. You don't have to, your kids aren't having a meltdown, they're not screaming, waiting 2 or 3 cycles for some of these little, younger kid rides. And even if one of the, people in your party want to ride Iron Dragon, you can usually often hook that before going to Camp Snoopy, because now the height used to be 48, but last year they did bring it down to 42. So sometimes we'll even hit Iron Dragon and then go right to Camp Snoopy. And with early park entry and, park open, anything before 12 or 1 o'clock, prioritize what's important to you and your party. So you gotta ride Top Thrill 2, you're going Top Thrill 2 first thing in the morning. And always have a backup plan, because sometimes things don't open right away. They might have issues, they might be testing, especially with some of these, more complicated rides like Top Thrill 2 or Siren's Curse. So they might be doing safety checks. So have a plan B. If you want to ride, you want to do Top Thrill 2 and Siren's Curse, one's closed, pivot, go to the other one. If you want to do Steel Vengeance, maybe you're using part of that early entry time to just queue up for Steel Vengeance. But whoever's in your party, prioritize at least 1 or 2 of the big things in the morning, and then we'll save another, high priority A-ticket ride, let's call it, for the evening when, things calm down a little. But we'll get into that in a second. So once you're in the park, you've done early entry, you've done park open, the next big thing people often ask about is Fastlane. So if you don't know what Fastlane is, it's their skip the line program. So if you've been to Disney, it's the Genie Plus, the Lightning Lane. It allows you to pay to skip the standard queue. And now there are 2 types of Fastlane. There's Fastlane and Fastlane Plus. I'm getting confused now because they've recently merged with Six Flags, and they've actually just announced a new Fastlane program for a couple of the other parks. Hasn't come to Cedar Point yet, you're good, but is a set number of attractions. It's a good amount of all of their coasters and some other rides. And then Fastlane Plus is that plus the big rides. So like Top Thrill 2, Steel Vengeance, and a couple others. So if you are riding all the roller coasters, definitely consider it Plus. It does cost more. I usually don't recommend anyone to buy Fastlane regular because, Plus or Fastlane without some of those big ticket rides, you can just wait for, or if you do, you time it right, you get there early, you don't need Fastlane. Now, if it's a busy day, if it's 4th of July, if it's your one time at the park, let's say you bought, single tickets, you're not a season pass holder, you just want to visit one time, Fastlane Plus is the way to go. And then the dining plan, the all-day dining plan. Again, we'll get into food later. But that will make, your day the easiest. You don't have to worry about getting there super early if you have Fastlane Plus. You don't have to worry about lines because most of the time you're not waiting more 15 minutes to 30 minutes. And not all fast lanes are created equal. So you might have go in the fast lane for Maverick. That line is a separate line, completely separate from the general queue, and it takes you right to the station. I have Prestige Pass. I love using my single-use fast lane that comes with that season pass because you could just go right to the front. It doesn't matter how long the regular queue is. All that matters is how long the fast lane queue is. How many people are in there because you go right to the station. So that Maverick, Valraven, I'm thinking of another one. It'll come to me. Top Thrill 2. Yeah, God, how did I forget that? Jesus, Top Thrill 2 is right to the station. So other coasters like Millennium Force, Steel Vengeance, Siren's Curse, those all inject you into the line. So if there is a line, a queue, at least 15 or 20 minutes, you are waiting whoever's in the fast lane plus 20 minutes. Now, if the standard line's 2 hours, you're still, 15, 20 minutes plus how many people are in the fast lane because you're going to get injected into the line. And usually that's because of lockers. Siren's Curse and Steel Vengeance, you can't have anything in your pockets, no phone, no nothing. They give you a locker to put all the small articles in. So you can't really go right to the station. You have to go to the lockers. I don't know why Millennium Force is like that, but I wish they had it. There's not a lot of room over there if you've seen the line, probably. Now, so for those changes that I was talking about, so King's Dominion and Carowinds are getting the Six Flags version of Fastlane. So what that is they're gonna have Ultimate and Reserve. So we're still learning about this. They're gonna demo it this season, but Ultimate allows you to go whenever, and then Reserve, you book a place in line like Lightning Lane at Disney. So curious on how that's gonna work out. I think Prestige Pass holders are gonna get a one-time single-use Ultimate. So not Reserve, but Reserve is cheaper. So this is the legacy Six Flags before the merger Flash Pass, right? That's what they called it at Six Flags parks, like Six Flags Magic Mountain. So Fastlane, if you do have smaller kids that aren't riding some of the bigger coasters, don't get Fastlane. They don't have Fastlane for Kitty Kingdom. They don't have Fastlane for Camp Snoopy. You can get it for you or, your partner because you might want to hop on a ride real quick and maybe not leave the family, for too long. So that makes sense, but you definitely don't need one for the littles if they're not getting on anything that's considered, a bigger ride. And I'll put a link below to the website for all the rides that are included. So But again, if you're not riding Steel Vengeance, Top Thrill 2, Fastlane does make more sense. But if you want rides, and rides are important, Fastlane Plus, because that has the big ones. It makes the most sense, honestly, to me, because I would rather just wait for Matterhorn. I don't need a Fastlane unless it's a really busy day, I guess. And another pro tip, so for Top Thrill 2, right to the station, there is a sign, you know, out front and in the app. Download the app. I probably should have said that first. So download the Cedar Point. It's actually the Six Flags app now. Sorry, we're getting distracted. Before you visit, because you can actually, if you bought your tickets online, you can put them in the app, and then it has a map too, where you can, you know, route around the park, see what, you know, restaurants are on the dining plan, you know, what are the current wait times. Wait times, in my experience, are sometimes dead on, sometimes iffy. So just, you know, if it says it's a 15-minute wait and, you know, people are coming out the entrance, maybe it's not right. Just keep that in mind. But with Top Thrill 2, they have a nice new monitor. They have the standard queue and the, you know, fast lane queue. So that one's right to the station. So if it says 60 minutes, do it later. Wait till it's 15 minutes, early afternoon, late afternoon, after people have been riding all day. It'll be 15 minutes and you'll go right on. That's what I do. Definitely keep an eye on those direct to station lines like Maverick, Top Thrill 2, just because, you know, other rides like Millennium and Steel Vengeance, you're waiting at least 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30, no matter what. I'm talking to you, Steel Vengeance. I don't like the fast lane for Steel Vengeance. It takes too long. So, conclusion, you know, fast lane's your best friend if, you know, hey, you're visiting Cedar Point for one day, flying out the next day, you're passing through just one day in the park. It's a busy Saturday in July or August in the summer, or a holiday weekend. Those are the times I'd recommend to definitely consider buying it to have the best time. But if you're a season pass holder, you're going multiple times, you might not need it. Come on a slower day. Come on a day that it's forecasted to rain. The rain will break, no one will be there. So now you've got ride strategy covered. We talked about fast lane, early entry, all the goodies there for rides. Let's talk about food, because Cedar Point has some really great food. It's not like you're gonna be going eating pizza and burgers. You can do that, but they have some really good food. So let's get into food, even though I mentioned it like 30 times. I probably should have put it sooner in this video. Now, first tip for food is avoid peak times. So don't eat at noon, don't eat at 12:30. The lines for Farmhouse are going out the door at that time. Eat at 11 a.m. or maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock. Try and beat the crowd. Don't feel like you have to eat right at mealtime, unless you're starving, right? But try to avoid peak times. So dinner time is usually more busy than lunch, but that's why you just say 11 o'clock. But peak dinner is 5, 6 o'clock. So try and eat maybe at 4 if you ate early, 3 or 4. Try to eat maybe a little bit later, 6:37. Try and beat the crowds, because most of the food locations at Cedar Point, it's not sit down. You're not going to Disney World. You don't have a reservation. It's, you know, you wait in a line, you pick what you want, and then you go sit down, whether that's inside or outside. So it's like a quick service is what they call it. Now, meal plans. There's all types of meal plans that I've ordered a couple of them. So you can just go, you don't have to buy a meal plan when you visit. Just be prepared. Pizza is gonna cost you $12 a slice. It's a theme park, right? So be prepared mentally for that. You can buy a single, like a ticket. They all often have like a ticket and a single meal deal. Like you can buy a ticket and then it has just one meal voucher with it. I've seen those a lot, especially with like school visits or like a school bus, they have like a meal voucher. So they get one meal. The other options are the all-day dining. There's 2 versions. There's a regular and a premium. All-day dining lets you eat every 90 minutes. So back when I was talking about Fastlane, if you're trying to have the absolute best day and you don't care about budget, you're buying one ticket, you're buying an all-day premium dining and Fastlane Plus. You can eat whenever you want, every 90 minutes. Drinks are included with the premium. Every 15 minutes you can fill up your drink. And Fastlane Plus, you can skip all the lines. Now that's gonna cost you a pretty penny, but you'll have the smoothest day ever. Probably the smoothest day more than me than I've ever had. Because I am a season pass holder, I often don't go for those items. But I do go for the all-season dining plan. So that allows, you add it to your season pass, but you can have 2 meals per visit. They just have to be 4 hours apart. So all day dining's every 90 minutes. All day dining premium, also 90 minutes, gets you a drink. And then all day season pass dining is twice per visit, separated by 4 hours. So I don't even know how many meals I've eaten last year. I probably had 60 meals, 70 meals. I don't know. We went to a lot of parks last year. We did Kings Dominion, Carowinds, Kings Island, Cedar Point, a ton, probably others I think of right now, but I always try to maximize the meal plan. The pro tip with the meal plan is start it as soon as you get there, especially for the all season, because that timer starts. So don't wait to eat. Don't wait till 1 o'clock and then you're eating and then, oh, you're not hungry, you know, 4 hours gotta go by. Eat when you get there, you know, 10, 11 a.m. when restaurants open. Guess what? You could eat again at 4. And then maybe you wanna leave before the evening. You don't wanna wait for the meal plan to, you know, like, oh, I gotta wait another hour. Cause I've done it, I've waited. But that's the best pro tip I've had, especially for the all season dining. And like I said before, you can actually get breakfast at the Grand Pavilion. It's great. I think it was like a hot honey sandwich and then like an egg and sausage McMuffin type thing. Not McDonald's, but it's like a muffin, an English muffin. And the sides, tater tots, you know, kind of like potatoes. I'll take it. I love the breakfast. And if you do, there are also drink plans you can get. So if you get the all-day premium, you get drinks, but you can get a drink plan for just the day too. If you don't want the food plan, you get like a bottle that you can refill for the day. But there is a all-season drink plan. I think it's just paper cup this year. I don't feel I have to check the website, but it's either a paper cup or a souvenir cup is what it's been in the past. But there is also, sorry, this is a lot of information, a all-season premium drink plan. You can get ices. So it's like 50 bucks, I think, for the whole year. I probably had 30, 40 ices with, you know, me. I gave it to the, you know, one of the kids, or they split it with the kids. But you can also get coffee is where I was going with that. Sorry. Bringing it back. So you get coffee at the Grand Pavilion if you have the premium all-season drink plan. Now, you might not see that, you know, at all parks, but if you do have the all park passport and you have it on there, it does work. So I like use it at Carowinds, I've used it at Cedar Point, use it all over. Best places to eat at Cedar Point is gonna be Backbeat Q, Grand Pavilion, Farmhouse. Those are the best, I think, 3. There's Miss Keats, Panda. Miss Keats is like a burrito place. Well, it's a burrito bowl place. I wish you could get a burrito, you can't. I love Panda, it's so good, but I often tell people to try, if it is your only one time in the park, don't get Panda. Like, try something new, try Backbeat Q, get some barbecue, try Farmhouse. Like, the steak was really good when it first opened. I felt like it's gone downhill a little bit, but Farmhouse is also good. So much good food at Cedar Point. I actually have a full blog. If you're interested, I'll put a link to it down below on all the best places to eat on the dining plan. It might be a snack. Oh yeah, I should have said that. So you can get on the all-day dining, you do get a snack. So you don't have to get just meals. And that information is all in the app, which places accept the dining plan. So there's like a little logo. And the snack places too, like you get a popcorn or something for a snack too as well. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Now, let's say you don't, you know, you got a lot of kids with you, you're trying to save money, you don't want to spend money. Now you can't bring a cooler into the park. You can pack snacks. We always bring water bottles for the kids. We bring our stroller, definitely bring a stroller. Don't pay to rent one. And we bring snacks for the kids just in their backpack. So you can also pack a cooler, but you have to leave it in the car. I see tons of people taking their mid-afternoon break. So maybe a rope drop, maybe you hit a bunch of rides. They walk back to the parking lot, have lunch. It's definitely the best way to save money. So if you're more money conscious, budget conscious on your trip to Cedar Point, have breakfast at home before you get to the park, pack a cooler, fill it up, leave it in the trunk of the car, come back to the parking lot, eat during lunch, go back into the park. So just be wary if you are leaving the park, going out and coming back in. If you are not a season pass holder, you need to get like a stamp. You know, you gotta let them stamp your hand. But they usually have someone standing there by the exit and they're gonna ask you that, right? Now, if you do have picky eaters, I got picky eaters. They do have pizza. They do have chicken tenders at various locations in the park. So what we often do when it is time to eat, it's 11 a.m. Maybe we're still in the front of the park. Maybe we're in Camp Snoopy, honestly. Like, we often walk back from Camp Snoopy to the corral. That's near the front of the park. They have chicken tenders and regular sliced pizza. Now they have like the French bread pizzas in the back of the park at the Frontier Inn. That's a newer place. That used to be the Chick-fil-A back by Maverick. If it's been a while for you, they've since no longer in the park. It was closed on Sundays. It sucked. Sorry. So I'm glad that the Frontier Inn is there. So you can get burgers and French bread pizza in the back of the park. So, but yeah, we always do the corral for the kids. They love it. You can also get chicken tenders at places like Farmhouse back BQ, I think even the Grand Pavilion now. You get tenders basically anywhere. But pizza is a big one for us, and you can also get like a side of fruit, which is nice at the corral sometimes too. So, you know, it's not just French fries, a little bit something healthier for the kids. Now, there used to be 2 other sit-down restaurants, Melt and Chicky and Pete's. Those are gone. If you're from the Cleveland area, you probably heard Melt, the famous, you know, local chain, did fold. They did close their doors, sad face. But there are still a couple of sit-downs. There's TGI Fridays at Breakers and Perkins at Breakers. Now, Famous Dave's used to be outside. Yeah, come on, Moose. You coming in, buddy? Famous Dave's used to be right outside the park. You could get a sit-down restaurant for barbecue, but they've actually moved that to Castaway Bay. So a little bit further down the road, you know, quick drive. I don't like going that far, but maybe you do. Maybe you want to try Famous Dave. Maybe you're staying at Castaway Bay and you want to go back for lunch. That's fine too. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is just kind of standard quick service in Cedar Point, which is great. It's the fastest way to feed the most amount of people. You're not waiting forever. I remember just so many times being at Disney World, I was like, oh, you have a reservation. You have to wait 45 minutes for your reservation. Now, there is Starbucks in the park. A lot of people like Starbucks. Starbucks is getting a renovation this year in the park and at Hotel Breakers. So maybe you're there super early and you can actually walk down the boardwalk to Hotel Breakers. Yes, bud. What's up? Yep. All right. Well, someone knocked on the door and there's a Moose. Say hi, Moose. He's a good boy. He thinks he's a lap dog. He's not a lap dog. Well, he might be with us the rest of the video, so. All right, so capping off food. Eat early, avoid the lines, plan to your budget. Food is expensive. Family of 4, you spend $100 if you don't plan this right. Get the meal plan for all 4 of you. It's probably gonna be, you're not gonna eat every 90 minutes. Trust me, I've tried. I should probably film it. But like with eating, waiting in line, you know, using the pass, you would have to get right back in line again to use it in 90 minutes, I feel like. But challenge accepted, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we'll try to do a video for that. But afternoon. So next section here is how to plan your afternoon. So you've eaten, you've hit some of the big rides in the park, hit some of your big ticket items. Sometimes the afternoon's a good time to relax. Go to the Frontier Trail, see a show. There are shows at Cedar Point. Yes, they have more than roller coasters. They have a beach, a beautiful, I think it's a mile-long beach. They often in the summer on like weekends and in July, they'll have entertainment out at the Sandbar. It's one of the bars at Breakers. Maybe you don't have kids with you, go to the Frontier Trail. My favorite bar in the park to grab a drink is on the Frontier Trail. Shady, quiet, horses are back there. But yeah, Frontier Trail is also great just to cool off. Take the kids to the barnyard. Yeah, it's a petting zoo. You can, you know, feed the animals. One of my kids, not his thing. He does not like feeding the animals. My daughter loves it. So there's more to do than just the rides. Take a break. You know, chill out for a little bit. If you do have the Prestige Pass, you can go to the VIP Lounge that's right by Millennium Force. It might be busy, so, you know, keep an eye on that, but it's a good place. It's a covered, they have fans and TVs and snacks. You can purchase VIP entrance if you don't have a Prestige Pass. I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks. I would just buy a Prestige Pass. I live close. Again, depends on your visit. But it's not included with the Fastlane Plus or anything else or your ticket if you're buying a single day ticket. So use the afternoons, you know, collect yourself. Maybe you're doing a water ride. Cedar Point has 1 water ride left. Thunder Canyon. So Thunder Canyon, maybe it's a really hot day in the summer. Maybe you want to cool off. Maybe if you have a season pass, you want to go to the water park. You can get into the Cedar Point Shores water park for free if you have a season pass. If you have bought a single day ticket, it doesn't cover that. You have to buy for that too. Maybe you're going to the beach, you could just cool off, go into the water. But again, plan for that. Bring a bathing suit if it's a really hot day. Some people just wear their bathing suit, honestly, and then they just go back to the park and then, you know, back to the water park and back. And then they wear flip-flops. I can't do that. You know, you can't wear flip-flops on Top Thrill 2. It's a hot button topic. You gotta have closed shoes. But I digress. Getting into the weeds there. Relax in the afternoon. The one place you don't want to be if you're a parent, Camp Snoopy or Planet Snoopy. Holy moly, that place is gonna be a zoo. 2 or 3 cycles, it's gonna be rough. Now, if you're running late and you want to ride the rides, you gotta do what you gotta do. But be prepared. It's gonna be busy, and especially on like a Saturday or on the weekends in those areas. So that's why I recommend hitting those early if you can. And well, what the heck? Maybe you're a ride warrior. You don't want to take a break. You want to keep going. You want to ride all their roller coasters. This is a good time to hit some of the, you know, B ticket, you know, not quite A top tier rides, but second tier rides. So we're talking Magnum, Blue Streak, Gemini, Gatekeeper. I don't know, it might be a tier 1. It's so good. Any other park, that ride would be the best ride in the park, but this is Cedar Point we're talking about. So those will have lower lines because a lot of people are going to be building up. Top Thrill 2, hour and a half, 2 hours. They have 2 trains. Top Thrill 2 has 3 trains. I don't know if they've been running 3 trains, but they will cook people through that line, I'll tell you what. Steel Vengeance, Maverick, those are all going to be busy. You can even probably catch Millennium at a decent time. Valraven is definitely going to be busy. That's in the front of the park. I still call that a tier 1 ride. It's one of the, you know, good rides in the front. Raptor, I still wouldn't do. It's definitely a B ride. Tier 2. So yeah, maybe you want to keep riding. You got a Fastlane Plus, you can keep going. What the heck? Yeah, I ain't stopping you, but I'm old and I got kids. I got to take a break sometimes. But yeah, afternoons at Cedar Point is really all about flexibility. You know, take a break, maybe you're going to keep going. Whatever you and your party need. So after the afternoon, we're talking evening. We're talking night rides. It's a thing. Riding a coaster during the day is one thing. At night, completely different. Maybe you want to ride Millennium front row at night at Cedar Point. I'm going to recommend against that because you're going to be a windshield with bugs. Very common thing to do. Millennium Force is great front row, but you will catch some bugs at night if you're riding that front row. Now, evening strategy. So depending on when you used your meal plan, you might want to beat the rush. So 4 o'clock, use the meal plan again before it gets busy. Maybe you used it late. And for a later lunch, you're going to want to use it after. But definitely consider that when you're thinking about your early evening plans. And if you're just on the Frontier Trail, Backbeat Q's good, Miss Keats is good. Those are 2 restaurants that are in the back of the park. Farmhouse. If you're in the front of the park, you know, think Grand Pavilion, the Corral, the Italian place, Hugo's. Maybe you want some pizza or pasta. It's like a thicker pizza, but you can also get pasta there. So like I said before though, Top Thrill 2, this is a good time to check the, you know, line, how it's doing. If it's been busy all day, it might be chilling out here early evening before the night rides. So definitely take a look at the queue and the fast lane queue if you have it. You can also purchase a single-use fast lane in the app if you really want to ride a ride, the line's been long all day, you can do that. So I think it varies between the day. They're like 15 to 30 bucks each. So just be aware of that too. Evening options for the fam. So Planet Snoopy, this might be a good time to head back to the front. Maybe do a little Kitty Kingdom, little Planet Snoopy that people knocked out earlier in the day. Camp Snoopy does have better rides in my opinion. So it's good to knock that first out in the morning anyway. The Boardwalk is also a good shot. If you have not done the Boardwalk yet, they do have more family-friendly rides, 42 inches, 46 inches, 44-inch heights. Over there, lots of spinning rides. Wild Mouse is a great kids coaster. Accompanied, you only have to be 42 inches for the kids. I got the cheese car once and it spun like you would not believe. But don't let that discourage you. It's a great ride, great family coaster. Definitely a good step-up ride for those young coaster enthusiasts. Now, so you're getting your night rides in. Maybe you're a ride warrior. You got the whole night planned out, but you also probably want a souvenir before you go home. So depending on the time of year, the day you go, the park could close anywhere between 6 p.m., 7, 8 p.m. most nights to midnight. So Halloween does stay open super late. In summer also too, that's like 11 or something like that too. So depending on when, you probably want to stop for a souvenir. So Pagoda gift shop, it's kind of in the middle by like kind of near Valraven, just like the main midway. Right before you either go right or left. Left for Siren's Curse, right for Top Thrill 2. But Pagoda is on the main midway. Point Place is right up front. Those are the 2 best places to get merchandise. To get roller coaster merch, there's the bucket ride. God, I'm forgetting the name. That you can, you know, hop in. It's like a little ski lift type of thing, but good roller coaster merch underneath the front station. And then there's also good roller coaster merch at each one of the gift shops. So maybe you want a Steel Vengeance shirt. There's a Steel Vengeance gift shop back near Steel Vengeance before you actually go over the railroad tracks. There's, you know, Maverick gift shop, Gatekeeper, you all go through those before. But whatever you want, just general merch, Point Place, they do have roller coaster merch there. They do have the Top Thrill 2 store, has a ton of Top Thrill 2 merch. It's right across from the ride. It's not actually at an exit or anything. You don't like walk through it. But yeah, whatever you're looking for, Point Place has a good sample of everything, and so does Pagoda. So Pagoda this year is getting a renovation. They're actually knocking down the wall between Pagoda and Sweet Spot. So now you can go from Pagoda to Sweet Spot to the Peanut Store. So kind of all open, kind of like you see at Disney and also Kings Island. The Emporium, you can kind of walk along multiple stores there too. But yeah, so definitely stop by, plan to get a souvenir before you leave. But before that, so right when we were kind of talking about early entry, there's the opposite of early entry. It's like the last ride that you want to ride before you go home. So let's say you got a souvenir, it's 5 minutes to close. You can still get in line for any ride that's still open before close. So like, let's say it closes at 9 p.m. If you get in line at 8:59 p.m., you're good. You can stay in that line until you ride it. Now the line might be, I've seen Steel Vengeance night rides 2 or 3 hours in the standard queue. So people aren't leaving till 3 hours after close, but it makes for some great pictures. You get, you know, night pictures of the park on your way out with nobody in it, right? But yeah, so just keep that in mind. The reverse of early entry, it's always a good thing to have maybe one ride you didn't get to, you maybe didn't wait for Maverick during the day. Get in that right before close. It's a great chance to ride a ride, you know, with not as long a line. Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's almost closed. I'm gonna go home. Yeah, go home. I'm gonna go ride another ride. I'm not ready to go yet. And that's even better if you're staying at Breakers, because then you could just walk to your hotel. You don't have to drive home and be tired. But yeah, you can also, before you go, talking souvenirs, you can definitely hit the ice cream shop or Sweet Spot. I've gotten some really cool ice cream sundae type things from the ice cream shop up front next to Starbucks, and Sweet Spot has a ton of just kind of craft unique sweets. Definitely check those out too. Getting a funnel cake before you leave. In the summer, it is nice that the funnel cake shop up front, French Quarter Confections, does stay open a little bit after park close. So people are making their way out. Get a funnel cake. You can get ice cream on it with strawberries, like, you know, the strawberries with syrup, like on a strawberry shortcake and sprinkles. Super good. Definitely a staple if you're going to Cedar Point. Get yourself a funnel cake before you go home at French Quarter Confections. And then it's time for you to go. So one thing to keep in mind, so if you are staying on property, let's say Lighthouse Point, which is the campground and the cabins, or Hotel Breakers, obviously you just walk to your hotel. If you are staying on property at Sawmill Creek, Castaway Bay, or a express hotel, you're gonna have to drive. You know, it's only, I think Sawmill, the furthest is 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, but you're gonna have to plan for traffic on the way out. So Cedar Point is on a peninsula, and everyone kind of arrived throughout the day. Now, everyone from the peninsula has to leave at the same time. So don't leave right at park close on a really busy day if you can avoid it, because you're gonna be just sitting and waiting in your car. You might not even be able to back out of your spot because the roads fill up and people are just waiting to get out. I've gotten caught a few times, 4th of July, everyone complains about the traffic. Holiday weekends, on Saturday nights, you're gonna get stuck in traffic. So yeah, leave a little early if you wanna beat the traffic, or ride that ride. Get in line, wait a couple hours, and you leave it. So you might as well wait for a ride instead of waiting in traffic on the way out. But Cedar Point does a pretty good job. I feel like last year I had very minimum trouble getting off the peninsula. I didn't do a whole lot of busy nights. But yeah, they really actually widen it out, because I think it's 4 lanes on the causeway. So they'll do 3 going out and 1 coming in at close. Conversely, 3 coming in the morning and 1 going out in the morning. So traffic coming in too. I know we didn't talk about this earlier, but if you are waiting till 12 or 1 o'clock to come in, the traffic getting in, you could also get stuck waiting to even get into the parking lot for 30, 40 minutes if it's a busy Saturday at like 12 or 1 p.m. when everyone's showing up. So, excuse me, another reason to get there early, right? The last section I wanted to do is for those who need an accessibility pass. So if somebody in your group needs like an ADA pass or an accessibility pass, maybe they can't wait in line, whether their disability is visible or not, and also rider swap. So that's good for families. So for the ADA passes, there was a big change last year. Last year, you didn't have to do any third-party validation. You just go to guest services, either in the front or the back. There's a great guest services kind of little hut in the back too, in Frontier Town often has less lines. So if you're coming in through the Breakers entrance, you don't have to go all the way to the front. You can actually just go to Frontier Town. It's in the app. So make sure you have the Six Flags app. Cedar Point, you have to pick the park now. So Six Flags owns everybody. You got to pick which park you're at. But it looks just like the old Cedar Point app. But so now, starting last year, you do have to register before you get there if you can. If you're not, you can do it when you get there. It just takes more time. But before you get there, I'm going to put a link below. IBCEES or IBCCES. It's one of those two, but it's a third-party validation website. You sign up, put your information in, some information about your disability and what park. They do it at all the Six Flags parks. So you just fill out which parks you want to go. And then they usually give you like a temporary card right away. And then after they like review it, they give you the full one. So when you go to guest services, you show them, you have to have the person with you who needs the pass. You can't just like, partner, wife, son needs it. You can't just go. You have to bring that person with you and then show them the pass. And then Cedar Point is nice. Once you've done it once, they don't need as much information. You're like in the system. So it's not a fresh start every time. And just be aware, early in the morning, they will route you to there's a separate accessibility line from guest services. They won't do it actually at guest services if it's a busier day. There's a whole separate line. And yes, you need to get a pass to not wait in line. It's a little frustrating because, that person might not be able to wait in line and you have to wait in the line to get the pass. But it'll still make for a better park day for you and your group if you need that pass. But they'll give you a piece of paper. Once you get up there, they'll ask about the disability, can they hang on, do they need help getting out? Can you have, anything like that? They'll ask some questions, very standard. They don't need to know the condition, so you don't need to be like, I have blah. But they'll give you a pass, and the way the pass works is you wait after the ride. So let's say, hey, you are on the A pass, you want to ride Top Thrill 2, it's a 2-hour wait. You can go in the ADA pass entry. It's like usually you go up the exit, you hand it to the operator. For Top Thrill 2 is actually special. They have like a whole hut by the exit. And they will mark down what time it is and then put 2 hours or whatever the current queue time is for that ride. So if the line was 30 minutes, you cannot use the pass again for 30 minutes. So you technically wait after. I like this. I've used a lot of different ADA passes at different parks for our group. I like this one because you wait after. So you're still waiting, you're just waiting at a different time. So if you aren't on the ADA pass and maybe you see someone coming in the exit, you're like, oh, what the heck? I waited so long. How come this person? They're gonna wait after the ride. So just be aware of that. That does happen in the park. So you might've been waiting an hour and then someone just jumps right in front of you at the end. They're probably using the ADA pass or rider swap. Guest services will give you can get a rider swap. So maybe you want to ride Steel Vengeance, Top Thrill 2, partner or wife waits with the kid. You ride it. They'll give you this form, and how the rider swap works is you wait in the normal line or the fast lane if you both have fast lane. You leave the paper with the operator. And then the person who didn't ride the first time, when you switch, that person goes up the exit ramp through the exit queue and they say, hey, I'm here for rider swap. My name is so-and-so. There will be a name on the sheet that you get from guest services when they ask you your name. Like, what's your name? So they'll know, okay, Nate, rode first. Okay, now it's your turn to ride. Then that person hops right on. But just be aware, you can't like double dip, cheat fast lane. So let's say I have fast lane, the other person does not, that does not work. I can't wait fast lane and do a rider swap with someone who's not fast lane. You both have to have fast lane or you both don't. That doesn't work, that's cheating. So they have rider swap, definitely use it. We've used it a few times, it's great. Wild Mouse, we often use rider swap on because that's a kid ride. Younger, can't get on that one, but rider swap's great too. So they do have those, but it's like on a paper. I think like places like Disney, they have it in like the app, which is a little fancier, right? But the paper works just fine. We've had no problems. But I think that's about wraps it up. Definitely stay on site, if you can. One final tip, if you're only visiting for a set amount of time, you can't get out there often, you get the early park entry. Sometimes they throw in like a fast lane with staying at Breakers. I've seen it like off-peak times. They'll throw deals out for pass holders even, or people staying at Breakers. They'll throw in a fast lane for you. Keep an eye out for those deals. Not all the time, right? You do get early entry. You don't get fast lane automatically, but certain specials they'll run. Castaway Bay is a water park, an indoor water park. So maybe, you know, you could divide and conquer a little bit. Some, you know, grandma and the kids go to the water park, and you and your wife, your buddy, whoever, go to the park, ride some big rides. Cedar Point really is a good family destination. I've been to a lot of different Cedar Fair, Six Flags parks, and Cedar Point is great because it's something for everyone. It's not just roller coasters. So you can really have a good time with everyone. I often go, I take my kids, I don't even ride any rides sometimes. I go to use the meal plan. That's what keeps me coming back. So I'm gonna get some food. So they have something, you know, for everyone. They have coasters, food, kids rides. It's a great time. They have games, tons of games. Some people are all into claw machines, like that's their vibe. But I think that'll about do it. So if you have any, you know, questions, thoughts, definitely drop them in the comments below. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you have a pro tip, definitely leave it down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you at the park. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Wanna watch the roller coaster? Here it comes.
Dude, that looks wild.
Yeah.
It's almost like a doodle. Daddy, it's almost
Here it
like
comes. Anybody on it? Not yet.